Hey everyone, it's Andy with Fountain of Youth with Andy. And joining me today is my dear friend Erin Lay, founder of Life on Track Coaching Agency. And my new dearest friend, Margie's, I cannot pronounce your last name. I'm
Shorting.
going to butcher it.
Hi there. Shorting.
Shorty. And she is a health and wellness advocate and just learning everything and anything about health. And today, we're going to talk a little bit about glutathione and, why that is so important to have, in our body. And, more importantly, how glutathione, how it benefits. Exactly. We're going to talk a little bit more about those glutathione patches. But yeah, let's start you off, Margie. I know you prepped a little bit. You got a little teacher in you. What are some benefits of glutathione, and how do people, can up level their levels of glutathione?
Well, to start off with, you had recommended when Erin and I both signed up with LifeWave to start with the X39 and the glutathione. Me being because I got the vaccination, so it's a natural, the most powerful antioxidant in our body. I've learned. And also using the patches, which we will get to, helps to release all those heavy metals that
Yes.
are in our body from vaccinations and poison in our society. And so, yeah, I made some cards, like maybe later on after you introduce Erin, about like foods that contain glutathione and foods that can boost your glutathione. And also, if you have a lack of glutathione, what diseases you could get from not having enough.
I love it. I love it. And Erin, some thoughts on that?
Yes, I'm texting my kids that I'm on a Facebook Live. I just tried to tell them to come
Do not
in.
disturb.
Yeah, exactly. Like, man, I'm on a Facebook Live. So, I mean, it's so important, Andy. When you and I spoke when I first learned about LifeWave, and it's done amazing things for my health. Amazing. And you explained that if I use the X39 and the X49, the X39 and the glutathione together, it'll detox all of what COVID, the vaccine and all these other things, that heavy metals and toxins and everything else from the body. And I did it for the 60 days and I felt amazing on the other side of it. And I remember when Margie was doing it also, because the two of us were like, oh my God, this is so good. Oh my God, this is so good. And it was just like you felt the toxins leaving the body,
Exactly.
So
And then of course, first off, I just want to throw out, we're not doctors or medical professionals.
Right.
So everything that we are saying is from experience and it's our opinions only. So anything we talk about, make sure you check with your doctors before diving in. All right. So just trying to make sure we're compliant and not getting in trouble. But yeah, when it comes down to glutathione, Margie hit it right on the head. It is the master antioxidant, which means that it is the natural substance inside our bodies to fight oxidative stress, right? A lot of people hear about oxidative stress and we get oxidative stress from UV light. We're out too much in the sun, right? We get oxidative stress on our skin, from the pollution. We're talking, Margie's going to talk a little bit about the food and stuff like that. Right. But, our food supplies are so heavy with chemicals and toxins and heavy metals. And then, of course, we talk about the water supply. So any one time, our body is just bombarded with all these heavy metals and chemicals. And glutathione is basically our natural way. It's supposed to be our natural way to help detox all these things out of our body. But, it's gotten to the point we're getting so bombarded with all these outside environments that people are getting very low in glutathione.
Yes, and it also it's made in the liver, correct?
Yes.
Made in the liver. And
Right.
It also protects us from skin damage, the skin from sun damage also.
Yes, exactly.
A lot of things I'm learning about glutathione, the benefits of having it.
And to actually introduce these patches and to get the glutathione, like this patch alone offers what, Andy, 300 times?
300
300 times the
Yes.
amount of glutathione that the body, is it 300 times the body makes, or it helps the body make 300 times?
It helps your body make 300% daily.
I mean, amazing.
Right.
Daily.
And what it's doing is reducing the inflammation, which over time we get lots and lots more. And with our stem cells becoming dormant, the inflammation increases. So the glutathione, without enough of that, that's how you get asthma. That's how you get Alzheimer's, autoimmune disorders, cancer, cardiovascular diseases. I have 11 out of like way more that you can have as a result of lacking glutathione. Cystic fibrosis, diabetes, depression, most people have. Fibromyalgia, high blood pressure, infertility. That's only some of the many diseases that people face for lack of glutathione. It's very important antioxidant.
And Margie and I, we're like a tag team with some of this stuff. We're both cancer survivors, right? We both had cancer. And I have congestive heart failure. I'm doing amazing. But that was a diagnosis. And Margie has, been dealing with lupus. So we know all about the inflammation and the things that happen with the body. And, to be able to combat that. And you were mentioning, Andy, the food, it's the air, the water, the food, the soil, the chemtrails, like we're bombarded on this planet with all of these toxins. And I love how these patches, and it's technology. It's not even like it's pharmaceuticals. It's literally technology that is combating all of this stuff that is working against us, and part of it is, if we're sick, the big pharma makes a lot of money, and there's a lot of things going on with that. That's a whole separate conversation. Yes. But for everybody that wants to get out ahead of all of the stuff that's going on, like I said, the air, the water, the food, injecting these animals with the steroids and all the stuff, coming down the pike and everything else, to be able to get out ahead of that with this kind of technology and protect your body, it's the most amazing thing. And I mean, I have so much more energy. I feel so much better. It's
blood work results are better.
Yes.
Right.
My doctor was like, "Oh my God, Erin, like the liver, the kidney." And I had 2.5 years of aggressive chemotherapy and radiation and everything else. And my numbers are now, I've never had my numbers because I had cancer when I was 25 back in 1991. I haven't had normal numbers where it's literally within range. It's always a little high, a little low, or got to follow up with this, And after wearing these patches, my cardiologist was like flipping through. She goes, "Oh my God, Erin, I've never seen your numbers. Every single one of them was in range. Every single one of them." Mm-hmm. So, I'm here. Margie is like, she makes her own soaps. Like she knows so much about the holistic, and the natural way. She tells me, get rid of those pans that are self-stick. I'm like, but nothing sticks to it. I mean, that doesn't prevent
one little scratch. Toxins are in there.
Yes.
But Margie knows so much about, just educating people on all of that stuff. And Andy, the longevity and functional nutrition coach that you are as well. I mean, like, absolutely amazing. I'm here, I'm a life coach and business strategist, and I'm here to talk about testimonial from my own, my own experiences on just how absolutely amazing it is. And I love working with people on mindset, like mindset and transformation to be, and, mind, body, spirit, but to be able to bring something like this, that's not big pharma or not like chemicals that can damage the body, help one area and then hurt something else, to be able to add that to what I do for people, with regard to head, heart coherence, mind, body, spirit connection. Like, I am just on fire for this whole thing. Shari.
Yes.
Sherry says she loves the glutathione patch, which is so true. We're all wearing it, and Erin, I just wanted to dive a little deeper on the glutathione because, glutathione is a pretty big word now. Like so many people realize glutathione is very important. They want to elevate it. But there are so many supplements out there that claim they can elevate glutathione. And, there's the IV infusions and stuff like that. And I just wanted to break down, why our products are different. We got the X39 and the glutathione, which you talked about, And if you guys didn't catch what Aaron said, the glutathione, it elevates at 300% daily, right? And to put that in perspective, for all the people that is taking supplements, right? Like popping your glutathione supplement, like your liposomal glutathione supplement or NAC, it takes about 2 to 3 months before your body elevates to 30%. Right? The X39 will give you 30% daily, right? One patch a day will give you 30%. If you're taking supplements, it will take 2 to 3 months to get to the same level. And then for all the people spending all this money on the glutathione IV infusions, and they're saying, oh yeah, we're going to boost your glutathione 30 to 50% after the IV infusion. What they don't tell you is the half-life is 7 minutes. So like as soon as you leave that parking lot and you drive home, it's almost all gone, right? And people don't realize that. They hear the number, but ours is different. Like this is using your body's own energy. Like Aaron says, we're excited because it's non-transdermal. You only wear it on 12 hours during the day, take it off at night. It's so easy to use. There's no drugs. There's no side effects. It's just an amazing way to boost your glutathione. And of course, Margie talked about all the diseases that, that you can start getting when you're low in glutathione. And then, like I said, the 300% that Aaron was saying. And, of course, when we're talking about people that got vaxxed, right? My own studies, okay? Because like for me, I always get people to test the COVID antibodies. And I know when we start using this protocol, it helps lower the COVID antibodies, which means it's helped detoxing it out of your body, right? Because I know we tested your antibody test very recently, Aaron. And, unfortunately, I know that you had a couple of the shots in the beginning. Yeah. And once again, people got it for whatever reason. There's no judging there. But knowing that now all the studies are coming that is showing there's damage, what are you doing about it? You can't just hope you're going to get better, right, Aaron?
Right. No. And, I held out. I was like one of those that held out for a long time.
Me too. Yeah.
I didn't want it, but as a single mom, growing my business even more and needing to just do what I needed to do. And the world, it was forcing us to do that,
Yes.
And same thing with my kids. They didn't want it either, But in order for them to go to work, they're adults. And for me to do what I need to do, we had to get it, which, there was a lot of stuff that had happened that's come out that, things that happened to me and everything else as a result of it. However, ever since I started wearing these patches, all of that has gotten so much better. And Andy, you went to your doctor who wrote not your doctor. You gave me a script.
Yes.
To go to my doctor, to go to my lab and have the spike protein tested.
Yes.
Right. And normal's 13. Right. Yes. And I had 2 of them and he was saying, when it's 2, the normal's like 500 to
oh, yeah. We have people getting up to 25,000.
Right. Now I wore, and I have all of them here right now. They're falling off here. I wore the X39 and the glutathione for 60 days. That's what you asked me to do.
Yes.
And I said, absolutely. You're amazing at what you do as a longevity and functional nutrition coach. And so I did it for 60 days religiously every single day. I didn't miss a day. And I went and had my test done and it was down to 65, heading to 13, as opposed to 25,000 or 15,000 or whatever. It was down. My number was 65. Yes. And it's still, it's heading to 13. It's heading to normal. And it's just, but you feel it. Like you feel so much better. You don't feel as heavy and lethargic and, like you just foggy or whatever. Like you feel so much better when the body starts to clear.
Yes, it's good to be clean. I've been watching a lot of testimonials because now that it's almost a year I've been using the LifeWave patches, and I know it's worked for me. And now just watching the amazing testimonials of people that it's working for them. One girl, she was like near death on her couch all the time, and she was active, nice, what do you call it, bodybuilder and everything. And
Yes.
she just couldn't get off the couch. And she had mold in her apartment, heavy mold, and she was poisoned by that mold. And that's what was making her so lethargic. And she did the X39, the glutathione, and she's back to life again, back doing her old things, and now an advocate for, mold. And also Suzanne Summers, a big actress in the past, had breast cancer. And she refused to do any treatments with the chemotherapy drugs and everything. And she actually promotes LifeWave patches, and she used the glutathione, and she actually lived for 10 years longer than the doctors expected her to live.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And maybe the reason is because she was getting rid of all those poison toxins that are just sitting in her liver. If you think about it, every drug that you take is getting passed through your liver. What is this doing to your liver that is producing this glutathione? Perhaps that's the reason why your glutathione is not being produced as quickly, because of all those toxins in there. So why not just use this simple patch that's non-transdermal? It's all natural, holistic. My friends yesterday who saw me with the patch are like, what is that? And like a group of people were around me, and I was telling them all about it. And they're all like, give me every piece of information you have on that. That just seems like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do that? It's all natural. Working with your body's heat, the light.
I think just most people don't know. Most people don't know about LifeWave.
Exactly.
They're putting together they're paying a fortune for turmeric and this and this and this and all these supplements, and thinking that they're doing the best that they can, and they are doing the best that they can for what they know right now. But they just don't know about LifeWave, where it's a simple patch, one thing, unless you want to put a couple of them together. And there's a group, Andy, I want you to talk about this group on Facebook where it's so many testimonials. You could put something in the search bar of this group, migraines, and you'll, or heart failure, or I broke my leg, or like anything you could put in there, tinnitus, anything. And all of these testimonials, I mean, from every medical thing you can think of, including breaking bones, or pulling muscles, to diseases and everything else. I mean, like, I've never seen anything like it. All of these amazing testimonials.
Right. So you're saying because there are several different types of patches. There's X39, there's the glutathione. So watching these testimonials, you'll see which is the right patch for you in your situation.
Exactly. And just stressing what, Erin is saying, a lot of it stems on the X39 because, the other magic where everyone's talking about throwing around now is stem cells, right? And if, stem cells is what is your body to repair. It's innate ability to repair whatever's broken, right? So we're, like you're talking about sharing healthy lifestyle warriors, like these 2 life groups. It's like all these things are getting better. We want to say not healed, right? Once again, we don't want to get in trouble. None of these things are being healed, but the symptoms are disappearing. The symptoms are disappearing. And that's because our bodies are repairing itself because of stem cells that are able to repair that damage, right? So it is so amazing what, the body can do naturally. And I keep telling people, you want to support the body. And this is the most natural way to support it because you're using your body's own light and energy. Like Margie says, non-transdermal, nothing going into your body. It's such amazing technology that everyone needs to be on.
Yes.
And this is what I love about what you just said, Andy, also, and Margie. We're not doctors, and we're not saying don't take medicine. We're not saying that at all. I mean, there's a time and a place for everything. With these patches, what it does is it works with the body and activates stem cells within the body and starts to activate the body, because the body, it's like when we're first born, we're born, at code, right?
Yes.
Like we're like everything is functioning and we have homeostasis, and so what these patches do is it supports the body to get back to code. And the difference between the patches and holistic approach, which is wellness, and, you know, medicines and pharmaceuticals and stuff like that. The pharmaceuticals are like, you know, it's their treatments for a specific illness, you know, and then those treatments can hurt some other part of the body as it's treating one part of the body, you know. And again, there's a time and a place for everything. And I really believe that medicine, and when you're in crisis, you know, and you got to go to the hospital, you have a broken leg, or, you know, absolutely. But for like, that's when you want the body to support the body to heal itself, because that's how we're designed. But most people don't realize that. Most people aren't talking about the fact that, oh, I can heal my body. My body's meant to heal itself. Yeah, I did it with the cancer. They could tell me I was going to die. And I learned about the holistic side and all that other stuff. And these you know, these patches are miraculous. And the timing is perfect. He's a genius, the founder of this, absolute genius.
And tell them, you know, how this all came about was the Navy SEALs, and they were in the submarine away under the water for months without light. So he created this light technology for them to survive, because really, how could you survive without light, sunlight? And
the biggest healer that we have is the sun. They say, stay out of the sun, stay out of the sun, put your sunglasses on, everything. No. Go out to the sun. It's so healing. And Margie, you and I were talking the other day saying, like, most people know with the vitamin D, right?
Yes.
You know, go out in the sun and you're getting vitamin D. How do you know you're getting vitamin D? You just know you're getting vitamin D, you know? Yes. And with these patches, you're just, and again, there's so many different kinds of patches, but their flagship patch is the X39. Which head to toe, it's an absolute amazing. I mean, there's not enough time in this to even talk about it, but it supports the body to self-heal without, you know, hurting all these other different things that like pharmaceuticals do. And again, the pharmaceuticals have their time and place for everything. So I just want people to open their mind. Just open your mind, you know, and just look into it. If you're struggling with any kind of an illness or pain of any kind, just be open to this, you know, reach out to us so we can talk to you more about it. And you never know, you know, it could change your life like that.
And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee also. So you could try the patches. On the 29th day, you say, hey, it's not doing anything for me. But technically, you should do it for every decade of your life. So I'm 55. So after 5 months, I should have seen a difference, which I have.
Correct. I love that, you guys. You know, just one last thing that I wanted to dive in a little bit about what Erin said about pharmaceuticals and how that helps us. Like, my life was saved by modern medicine, right? You know, I had a major car accident. You know, I wouldn't be here if they're not here. But, you know, we're talking about glutathione, and glutathione, you know, boosts your immune system, right? You know, that's what heals us when we catch a cold and stuff like that. And, you know, when you get the flu, what do most people tell you to do? Which medicine do they tell you to take usually? To lower your fever, what did they tell you to take?
Tylenol.
Like
Tylenol, right?
Which depletes the glutathione.
Tylenol depletes glutathione. So here you are. You got the flu, you got COVID, whatever you got something, you're popping Tylenol, thinking that's going to help. And now it's lowering your glutathione, which lowers your immune system.
If anybody ever read the side effects of Tylenol, you know, and all of these other medicines, they would be floored. They would be shocked, you know, at all the side effects to even those benign, that they say is benign things that people take all the time. Read the side effects. You know, it's crazy.
Exactly. And it just destroys your liver over time when your glutathione is not there to detox that Tylenol out, you know. So, you know, so this is one of those
how many people at our age have the fatty liver.
Right.
Exactly. Right. So it just comes down to what Erin's saying is like a lot of things that you think may be actually helping you is having these side effects that can hurt us in the long run. And that's why we love these LifeWave patches. Like Erin says, you know, we love everyone that's on this Facebook Live to reach out to us, or if you're even watching the replay, and you'd be surprised, right? All of us have different ailments. Some of us maybe just want better energy. Some of us maybe want to clear a brain fog, so we're a little bit sharper, right? Like that's why I have Erin now. She's keeping me sharp. She's keeping me sharp like a knife, right? But we also want to look and feel younger for our age, and of course, we want to have our immune systems elevated in this time and age now, right? Everyone around me is getting sick every 2-3 weeks. I haven't gotten sick for 4 years, right? Which is insane, right? Am I lucky? Maybe, maybe not, or maybe it's just these baptisms. I don't know, right? But I think everyone should reach out. Reach out to Margie, reach out to me, reach out to Erin, and we love to answer any questions you may have.
Something interesting I learned about glutathione, though, it's actually in avocado, spinach, and garlic, which are 3 main foods that you should eat often.
Yes.
Now I know why.
Like, there are a lot of foods that help, but it only elevates it enough. But if your body is always on the onslaught, you're not eating enough for you to make the glutathione. That's a problem.
Right. So,
can I share really quickly when I was in?
Yes, I would love to hear some thoughts, some closing thoughts from you, Erin. We just want to reach out to these people.
Yes, really, really quick. How I got started with this is I was speaking on stage with friends of mine, like Mark Victor Hansen and Andy, you met him, and Sharon Lecter and a bunch of other people in Scottsdale. I live in New York. So I had to fly, and I fly all the time, same suitcase, same backpack through JFK, the same thing. And I got to JFK and I was like, ooh, like I was off. I had been a little bit off balance for a little bit. I went to a chiropractor, but I'm like, I'm going to be fine going through JFK. I just got to get there, right? Let me just get to Scottsdale to be fine. I committed to speaking on stage. I'm going to get there. So I'm walking through JFK. I could not walk. For me to get into a wheelchair, because I'm not doing that, but it's bad. It's got to be bad for me to get into a wheelchair. And I was holding on to the partition in the center of the thing, and the woman came, and I'm like, I got to get to the gate. I'm like, I saw the elevator in front of me. I was not getting on the escalator, but I couldn't even get to the elevator. And she got a wheelchair, and I said, just get me to the gate. I got to the gate, and I was walking, or not walking. I was trying to get to the ladies' room. You don't have to highlight me. This is fine.
It's a great story. I want people to hear it,
But anyway, so I'm throwing cold water on my face. I'm trying to do anything to help me get past this. It was like pressure against me. It wasn't even like dizzy. It was like pressure against me, throwing me off balance. It was very strange. So anyway, I get to Phoenix. So I'm walking through the Phoenix airport, looking at the floor to follow the line on the floor next to a wall that I could just basically. And then I get to the hotel, and my friends who were speaking on stage also, they sent me to sit the lounge. So I'm walking through the lounge, holding on to chairs to get to because they were in the back, of course. So hold on to chairs, get to the back of the lounge. And it was Michelle, our mutual friend Michelle, that said, oh my God, when I told her and Sally what was going on, I know what you need. And she wears the patch, and she had her husband go and get me the patch. And she put the X39 on me. And I was like, in an hour, 1 hour, my hand to God, 1 hour, I had clarity.
That quick.
I wasn't clear. I didn't have clarity. And I'm thinking, how am I going to speak on stage? Oh my God, what am I going to do? But I committed to this, and got to show up. And within an hour, I had clarity. And it was shocking. It was just miraculous. It was miraculous. So then the next morning I was having breakfast with a gentleman who I'm friendly with, who's Eric Swanson has introduced me to so many people. So Paul Blanchard, I was having breakfast with him. Turns out that one of his close friends is an investor in the company and raved about it, just absolutely raved about it. So I came home and I was like, I gotta have all my friends and family, my parents, like, I'm not even like, oh, you should look into this. I'm like, you're doing it. Like, you don't have a choice. You're doing this. This is because I did the research. I do a lot of research. I research everything, and I weigh the pros and the cons. And I after doing the research and speaking to people that were in the know, I'm like everybody that I love. I bought it for my kids. And remember, I bought it for all 3 of my kids, like all these different patches. And Margie, I'm like, you got to do this. And now Margie's on fire to empower her family and her circle of friends and everybody to have them wear it. And people spend so much money on co-pays and medicine and all these, the supplements that they take and a patch. It's just, one thing, and it's amazing. So now Marge is on fire also to do it because we felt the results. You know, we experienced how absolutely amazing these patches are. It's miraculous. And like I said earlier, with everything going on in this outer world, in this 3D, with the sky, the ground, with the earth and the food and the water and everything else that's going on, it's not funny. But we do have something to combat it. And I love that. I love it. I love it.
That is so true. That is so true, you know, and the proof is in the pudding. You got your blood labs. Your blood labs came back amazing.
We have documentation showing that we have improved.
And even for me, you know, I was a skeptic when Sherry shared with me very first. I was probably her worst skeptic. I met her over 3-day conference, and like for 2 days, she gave me a free one to test. And I was like, I don't know if I feel anything. But by the 3rd day, I was convinced. I said, hey, I'm starting to feel something. But, you know, I said, look, I'm going to do a full documentation on this. So like, I probably do more testing than most people. And I did a full MRI scan. I saw amazing results before and after 1 year of use. But more importantly, even like my blood labs, my testosterone is better, my A1C, everything. Yeah. But my most recent blood test shows that I'm almost 10 years younger than my age. So, you know, for the people out there saying that food and exercise is all you need, show me your numbers. Are you 10 years younger than your age? So this, like, the proof is in the pudding. This is not anti-aging. You know, like a lot of people say, oh, is it anti-aging? No, this is reverse aging. Totally different stuff.
Reverse, yeah.
Margie, do you want to share what Cece said the other night when we were out to dinner?
Well, I don't recall.
You and I without the wrinkles and like.
Oh yeah, she pointed out. She said, "Oh yeah, I remember you had this really deep wrinkle on your forehead, and it's not there anymore." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even know you stared at me that much." Okay.
And we love you. We love you.
But yeah, I tell you, I was even considering getting something done because I couldn't take the wrinkles. They're almost gone.
Amazing. And I'm 59, going on 60. And Margie, I'm not going to say your age. I'll let you want
to. And I also had, was always wondering if I should get my ovaries out because I had breast cancer and I had a cyst on my ovary. And for 3 years, I've had the same cyst, same size. And now I just went 2 months ago and it shrunk. This cyst shrunk on my ovaries since. And
Isn't that amazing?
Patches. I know
you can't make it up. You cannot make this up.
I mean,
right? Like your doctors are probably wondering what happened. Maybe they made a mistake because that's what they said for my MRI when they saw some calcification go away from my arteries. Oh, I don't know what happened last year, but they're gone this year.
Right.
So, you know, so we're seeing...
I mean, we could go on and on. I just saw a testimonial of a man on oxygen in hospice, and he couldn't survive without the oxygen. His wife said, "Let me try this patch on you." Yep. He's off oxygen. He's out of hospice. Like,
it's amazing.
Wasn't he the one that was mowing his lawn? You told me the story.
Yes, 96 years old.
96 years old.
So imagine that he actually has the second leash of life. He hit his midlife crisis at 96. You know,
his life was down to sitting on the couch watching TV and relying on an oxygen tank. Now he's outside mowing the lawn. 6 liters
of oxygen every day.
You can't put a price on this. You can't put a price on health, and it's miraculous. And I want to shake that man's hand. You know,
so do I. I want to shake.
No, the guy who him also, and I'm drawing a blank on this.
David Schmidt. He is the brain behind this whole thing.
I want to shake his hand.
Amazing.
Blessing.
Yeah,
exactly.
Very, very intelligent.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you so much for joining us. Each week, we're going to dive into some health myths. And of course, we're going to let you know how LifeWave products can help you have a better lifestyle, to live longer, to look younger, like these beautiful ladies here, right? Our main thing here is to enjoy life, right? What's not to enjoy for life? And if you're suffering in pain, or you're trying to cover all these wrinkles that you no longer have with all these wrinkle creams and stuff, this is all natural. There's nothing to lose. And the thing I love what Erin says, this costs about the price of a coffee a day.
A
day.
Literally. It's amazing. And what a blessing. You know, this
Exactly.
things like this were really only held for like the celebrities or, you know, the people that, and now it's for everybody.
Right.
It's a blessing. It's a miracle. And it's so good. And Andy,
Exactly.
Thank you for
Thank
introducing
you.
this and for bringing us on this journey and, you know, showing us the way, because I feel like $1,000,000, you know, like this is just
Ew.
so
I'm on
good.
fire. I'm at the gym every single morning and I can't get enough.
So good.
Exactly, that energy, right? You know,
Yes.
and the recovery. The recovery is what's important, right? Because a lot of people will go to a gym and then they'll be recovering for 3-4 days. You literally bounce up and then you're ready to go at things again. You know, it's just amazing what the body, you know, it's sort of like what Erin said in the very beginning. We're just setting you back the way the body is supposed to function.
The design. Yep.
Yeah.
It's the original design. And there is
Well,
the
I'm
patent
looking forward to. Oh, go ahead.
we don't even use the energy enhancers yet. You know, like if we need energy,
No.
they have that
That
too.
X39.
Oh yeah,
is
then you'll be
great.
Energizer bunnies for sure. For sure.
I don't know. I don't know if
I
Mark
have
and
so
I are
much
ever gonna use
energy that I'm not sleeping at night. So I want to try that new patch, that other patch that helps you sleep at night. What is that one
Oh,
called?
Silent Nights. Silent
Yes,
Nights.
that's my
Ah,
next one to
there you
try.
go.
Yeah, then we can definitely talk about that next time for the people that have trouble
Yes,
sleeping.
tune in next Wednesday
Yes.
on how to sleep at night.
Exactly. So yeah, definitely, you know, this is where you can reach out for me, you know, anything at chronicallyhealthylife.com. Any questions, send it out to me. Or if you want to schedule a consult, longevityofandy.com, right? And I'll answer any questions that you may have with longevity questions, but more importantly, the life wave patches. This is what our talk is about every week, is how we can empower you to live your healthiest life with LifeWave. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. And, you know, we'll all see you next week.
Thank you.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Be kind.